Welcome, my friend. As you settle in tonight, let this gentle voice guide you through a story that is part reflection, part business meditation. There is no rush here, just a slow unfolding, a soft landing after a long day. You're invited to let go of the day's edges and breathe into something slower, something calmer, something a little wiser. Tonight, we're going to walk through a story of transformation, one that weaves together technology, human intention, connection, and growth. It's a business story, yes, but not the kind you might hear in a boardroom or a quarterly review. This one is told in quiet tones with space to think, to feel, and maybe even to dream. Let us begin. In a quiet city nestled between mountains and mist, there lived a small group of thoughtful entrepreneurs. They weren't loud, they didn't chase trends, they built things slowly, carefully, with intention. Their city, though small, had been buzzing with changes. Technology had swept through like a great wind, changing habits, changing expectations, changing what people paid attention to. Where once word of mouth and handwritten notes built businesses, now algorithms and endless scrolls determined visibility. And yet, in the midst of that digital storm, these entrepreneurs held onto something simple: purpose. They knew why they created, they knew who they served, and they believed that in the long run, meaning mattered more than metrics. One of them, a woman named Lina, ran a small tea shop, the kind of place where conversations lingered and quiet music played in the background. People came not just for tea, but for the feeling of being welcomed. Lina had watched as the world around her became noisier. New businesses popped up with sleek branding and massive followings, but something about the speed of it all didn't sit right with her. So she did something radical. She slowed down even more. She posted on social media, yes, but only when she had something heartfelt to share. She didn't chase trends. She told stories about the farmers who grew her tea, stories about the regulars who came in every Thursday morning, stories about silence and steam, and the ritual of a well-brewed cup. And slowly, her audience grew, not in millions, but in meaning. People shared her posts not because they were optimized for reach, but because they were real. Another entrepreneur, Malik, ran a local design studio. He loved color, symmetry, and the quiet beauty of good typography. Malik had once tried running ads and boosting posts, but the metrics overwhelmed him. He felt like he was chasing something he couldn't name. So he turned inward. He started writing a weekly email newsletter, not to sell, but to share. One week, he'd write about the architecture that inspired his latest logo design. Another, he'd explore the connection between rhythm and music and rhythm in layout. His list didn't explode, but his reputation did. Clients began coming to him not just for design, but for insight. He became known not as the guy who could whip up a logo in 24 hours, but as someone who brought thoughtfulness to every pixel. You see, what Lina and Malik understood, what they practiced quietly in their corners of the world, was the art of interest media, not social for the sake of likes, but connection for the sake of something deeper. They weren't trying to be everywhere. They were trying to be somewhere specific for someone specific. And that kind of focus is a superpower. Interest media isn't about scale. It's about resonance. And in that resonance, something magical happens. You're no longer shouting into the void. You're speaking in harmony with your people. Let's drift now, gently, to a different part of the city. There's a small co-working space lit by warm lamps and the glow of laptops. A man named Theo is working late. He's building something he calls an emotional calendar. It's a simple app, one that prompts users not to be productive, but to be present. Instead of task lists, it offers questions. What did you feel today? What lifted you? What drained you? Theo has no investors, no funding round, just a quiet belief that we need better mirrors to understand ourselves. He writes code by day and dreams by night, and he's learned to build his audience the same way, by creating presence. He films short videos with soft music and slow narration. He writes blogs that read more like letters. His growth isn't fast, but it's steady and it's earned. What these entrepreneurs understand is something you might already know too. Depth beats speed. Real beats loud. Service beats spectacle. So often we are told to grow fast, to be viral, to optimize every inch of our content. And there is wisdom in learning from data. Yes, but data without soul is empty. What fills a business with life isn't just a funnel or a framework. It's intention. Let's talk now, in the stillness of this story, about intention. It lives in the way you answer an email, the tone you use on a customer support call, the way you package your product. Intention doesn't shout, it whispers, but people hear it, people feel it, and in a world so often automated, intention is rare. Now, let's pause. Let's take a long breath in and out. This moment right here is a good place to ask a few questions. What am I building? Why does it matter? Who does it help? How can I serve deeper, not just louder? These are not questions you need to answer now. Let them float. Let them echo. Let's drift now to a moment of imagination. Imagine your business or your creative project or your work, whatever you build in this world, as a small campfire. You don't need a spotlight. You need a circle. You need warmth, stories, and people who feel safe in your light. Let your voice be that fire. Let your process be patient. Let your offering be rooted in care. Because when people gather at a fire, they remember the feeling. And in the quiet remembering, your message travels farther than algorithms ever could. Tonight, let this story be your reminder. You don't need to do what everyone else is doing. You don't need to post 5 times a day. You don't need to chase every trend. You can build something slow. You can grow something deep. You can lead with kindness. And it will work. Maybe not overnight, but over time. Because trust, once earned, compounds. As we near the end of this story, let's return to our city, to Lina's tea shop, now lit softly for the evening, to Malik's studio, where music plays as he drafts ideas, to Theo, closing his laptop with a gentle smile. They've all chosen something rare, alignment, not just success, but success on their terms, in their voice. with their values, and that is the kind of business that sleeps well at night. Now let's explore the gentle rhythm of seasons. In business and in life, spring is for planting new ideas, tender and green, just beginning to take root. Summer is growth, stretching into longer days, testing resilience, feeling the light. Autumn is harvest, a time to gather, reflect, and express gratitude for what's bloomed. And winter, oh winter, a sacred time for rest, for integration, for preparation. Your work will have seasons too. Sometimes you will feel inspired, other times quiet. Neither is wrong. Both are necessary. You don't always have to be blooming. Sometimes the most important work is happening underground. Let this truth settle deep into your bones. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to be. Now picture another scene. A gentle hillside farm where an older woman named Rosalie tends to her lavender fields. She has no website, no Instagram. People come because others told them, go, you will leave changed. Her business is rooted in generosity. She teaches, she listens, she invites people to slow down. You do not need to go viral to have impact. You do not need 1 million followers to make a difference. Rosalie proves that every day. As the night deepens, let us sit by this metaphorical fire a little longer. Feel the heat from the embers. Hear the gentle rustle of wind through trees. There is no to-do list here, no inbox to clear. Just this moment. Business can be a love letter to the world, to your audience, to yourself. Speak softly, create honestly, share patiently. Now drift. Let this gentle current carry you. You are enough. You are capable. You are not behind. You are precisely on time. Rest now. Let go. Let sleep take you. The work will be there tomorrow. Tonight. Breathe. You are safe. You are seen. Good night.